Alexander, Part 19, The Edge of the World. Alexander stood on the barren cliffs of the Macedonian coast, the fierce winds of the Arabian Sea whipping across his burned skin and battered armor. Behind him stretched the broken remains of his once invincible army, bleeding, starving, exhausted beyond the limits of human endurance. Ahead of him lay a horizon that promised nothing but endless desolation. Yet, in the heart of the Macedonian king, there still burned the relentless fire that had driven him across continents. He had conquered empires, shattered dynasties, and brought nations to their knees. But now, for the first time, he faced an enemy even he could not defeat, the merciless cruelty of nature itself. The march through the Gedrosian Desert had taken more lives than any battle he had ever fought. No amount of courage or strategy could save men from thirst, dehydration, sandstorms, and the scorching heat that melted armor like wax. Alexander had chosen this path not out of necessity but out of pride, determined to equal the exploits of Cyrus the Great. But Cyrus had failed, and now Alexander understood why. The desert did not care for kings, legends, or destiny. It devoured all who entered its domain. Still, he refused to show weakness. Every morning, when the sun rose like a burning spear over the dunes, he walked on foot beside his soldiers, sharing in their suffering, refusing water until everyone had been served. When a soldier once offered him a helmet filled with precious water, Alexander looked at the gift, then poured it into the sand before the entire army. "If my men cannot drink, then neither will I." And the army, though dying, followed him with renewed loyalty, because their king walked the same hell as them. Day after day, they trudged forward, an army that had conquered Persia, now reduced to shadows drifting across a sea of dust. Horses collapsed, camels died, supply wagons sank into the dunes. Thousands perished, their bones swallowed by the sand. Alexander watched every death as if it carved a scar into his soul. His empire stretched from Greece to the edges of India. Yet in that desert, he felt powerless. After weeks of torment, the army finally reached the coastal settlements where Nearchus, the admiral of Alexander's fleet, was expected to bring supplies by sea. But the coast was empty, and no ships were in sight. Panic rippled through the ranks. Had Nearchus failed? Had the ocean swallowed the fleet? Had everything been for nothing? Alexander refused to believe it. "He will come," he said, though doubt gnawed at him. For days, the army camped near the coast. Hunger weakened them, morale crumbled. The desert seemed ready to claim its final victims. Then one morning, just as hope was fading, soldiers spotted dark shapes on the horizon, sails gliding across the waves. The fleet had survived. Nearchus had accomplished the impossible. As the ships approached, the starving soldiers erupted in tears and shouts of joy. Alexander himself, exhausted and trembling, embraced his admiral like a brother. For the first time in months, the king allowed himself to breathe. The army was saved. But Alexander was not done. Even after the desert nearly destroyed him, he continued pressing forward, driven by a vision larger than any kingdom. He wanted to unite the world, to fuse cultures, to reshape humanity itself. He issued decrees promoting intermarriage between Macedonians and Persians, encouraged cultural blending, and integrated Persian nobles into his administration. Some applauded him for it. Many despised him. But Alexander cared only for the dream that consumed him. He traveled to Carmania, where he held a magnificent procession celebrating survival and victory, though many whispered it was more madness than triumph. Soldiers marched wearing vines, singing, laughing, drinking, as if the world itself had become their feast. For a moment, Alexander allowed the illusion of joy to wrap around him, but deep inside, he could not escape the growing darkness. He had crossed the edge of the world, but in doing so, he had pushed his army, his people, and perhaps even his destiny too far. In Susa, he revived his grand political experiment. He organized the famous mass wedding, where thousands of Macedonian soldiers married Persian women in a single ceremony. He himself took 2 Persian queens, Barsine and Parisitis. joining the royal bloodlines of Asia to the heritage of Macedonia. It was a move meant to unite nations, but instead it created resentment among his own men. They feared he was becoming too Persian, too foreign, too distant from the warrior king they once followed. Still, Alexander pressed on. He trained 30,000 Persian youths in the Macedonian style of warfare, creating a new generation of soldiers loyal to him alone. His own veterans felt betrayed. Mutinies simmered beneath the surface. Then came the day when those tensions boiled over. At Opis, when Alexander announced plans to send some Macedonian veterans home while Persian troops replaced them, the army exploded in revolt. Furious soldiers shouted at him, accusing him of abandoning his own people and giving the empire to foreigners. Alexander, enraged beyond control, stormed into the crowd and ordered the execution of the ringleaders. Silence fell as the king stood before his army, trembling with fury and heartbreak. He then delivered one of the most powerful speeches of his life, reminding them of every battle fought, every hardship shared, every victory won together. He told them he had asked for no privileges as king, had marched beside them, bled beside them, suffered with them, and led them to glory unmatched in human history. The speech broke the rebellion. Soldiers wept, begging for forgiveness. Alexander forgave them, and for the first time in history, Greeks, Macedonians, and Persians stood united in a moment of shared destiny. But unity came too late to heal the cracks forming around him. As Alexander pushed toward Babylon, strange omens followed. Priests warned him not to enter the city. Astronomers predicted death. His closest advisors begged him to avoid the route. But Alexander ignored them all. Destiny had never stopped him before. Why should it now? And so the king who conquered the world marched toward the place where his fate waited in the shadows. Part 19 ends here, standing at the threshold of Babylon, where glory and tragedy will soon collide.